Hello, my name is Sunny Bourne, and today I will be discussing my final project for EDUC 7143. I am super excited to show you what I have created this semester. Currently, I teach 7th and 8th grade social studies, I teach 7th grade world geography and Kansas history, and then 8th grade American history. For this project, I selected Edmodo for my LMS. We will get to that in a second. And I selected my 8th grade American history class to create this over. I currently work at Paola Middle School, and I'm excited to show you what I have. So let's start off with Edmodo. Before I created this project, I did not have any experience on Edmodo, so there has been a little bit of a learning curve. If you look over to the right-hand side, you will see that there's advertisement on Edmodo. I was a little shocked when I looked and did my research in Edmodo and saw that some teachers used this as their primary LMS. Currently, I don't think this LMS Edmodo would really support everything I'm trying to do just because of organization. However, there are some benefits. I did find out, though, after a while, you can hide sponsored content. However, that does return the next day that you open up Edmodo. So you can pause it for just a little bit, and then it will relocate back on your page. So that is one concern that I have a little bit about Edmodo. But when students first log on to my class, they can see my Bitmoji scene in the background. It is not embedded, however, they can find it some more on my site. So they see I'm the teacher, what we're learning about, and on the right-hand side would be a daily agenda, daily calendar. I would, of course, fill this out for my students throughout the week, and this could help them kind of pace themselves. I do like the setup of Edmodo just because it looks a little bit like social media, and I know a lot of our students by middle school and junior high have social media accounts, so they might like this format better than maybe a traditional LMS. So let's get started. I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom. So every time you add an assignment, it pushes the assignment before. So the first time they log on, they are going to see my American History Welcome. This will be a video of me that I created on Powtown about my expectations, a little bit of information about myself, and then just some information about my class. They should have access to this before day one because I will send out an American History Welcome before so they can get access to this document. Also, within that first post, they will be able to access my Bitmoji scene and my syllabus and eventually their alignment chart. I think in the future I will have my alignment chart in every unit rather than at the very beginning, but I do think just for this first unit, it might be helpful to have this alignment chart with the rest of the content. So let's get to a little bit of overview. I have created a couple of assignments. Week 1 will be all about the Boston Tea Party. So students will have 3 assignments for this week. They will participate first in a Ed puzzle video. They will watch the video and they will answer questions as it goes. These are guided questions about the Boston Tea Party to check for understanding. After they complete that, they will go and do a Google Jamboard. I really have been introduced to Google Jamboard and I really like to implement it into my classroom. So this is going to be during the first week, so this can create some community and kind of start to get our students acclimated with each other. So the first option or the first slide would be about just their names. I think this is a great start off and it gets them warmed up with Google Jamboard. The next question is one good thing that happened. I love hearing about good things happening in my students' life and spreading positivity to them. Once they get to the third one, they're finally getting into those higher order thinking questions. How can your actions impact others? They need to give historical examples. This is super important to teach to middle school and especially in secondary education, especially when we are talking about opinions or their own thoughts. The next 3 questions are going to be some quote analysis questions about the Boston Tea Party that they would have to answer and then respond to a peer. And then once they are done with that, let's go back. They would finish with a quiz. There are 3 questions on this quiz. I might add more in the future. However, I think 3 questions after they have completed a discussion and after they have completed the ed puzzle would be perfect. The unit that I have really created would be week 2. This is moving closer to revolution. They would have 3 assignments during this week. If I click on the assignment, they are able to see kind of the weekly agenda. So they will have 3 assignments, and I will create a video that kind of goes over my directions and expectations before they start. And then if they have any questions, of course, they should email me or leave a question below. I feel like I would be very, very active online because I want to be involved in my students' learning and to maybe help increase engagement. So after they read that, they are going to go to this blend space. They are going to go to this assignment. So the directions are that they are going to work through each resource on blend space to learn more about the impact of the Boston Tea Party, the Intolerable Acts, the Battle of Lexington, and Concord. I created this on blend space because Edmodo doesn't have a great system to create modules. So I thought if I had it all kind of on one site, although it's going to be a lot of resources to maybe work through, they aren't having to scroll through to find all of their resources. So let's get started with my blend space. So students are first going to see all of the things that they are going to look at or view in this lesson. They are going to hit the play button first, and the first thing that pops up is a discussion about the Intolerable Acts. So their objective is to describe how relationships among people, places, ideas, and environments are dynamic, and students will be able to explain the impact of the Intolerable Acts. They are going to obviously take notes as they read and watch things so that they can be successful on some of their assessments later on. The next item is just kind of a review from last week. They have the ed puzzle that we did last week. I say only watch if you need to refresh on the Boston Tea Party. They would open that in a new tab. They could watch that again if they forgot about the Boston Tea Party. The next section would be that Google Jamboard they participated in the week before. They are going to add 1 new comment that gets them thinking about maybe what comes next after the Boston Tea Party. I also know that some students might not view the Jamboard after they respond to a peer, maybe say Wednesday. So it's important for them to go back and kind of read maybe those late posts or students who maybe come in a little bit later. It's important that they get to see those students' responses as well. The next activity that they will do, they will watch a short clip. It's a Liberty Kids clip. I want to tell you, my kids love Liberty Kids. Even in 8th grade, they ask me to watch it all the time. So they would watch this short clip, take some notes over it to get a little bit of information just regarding the Intolerable Acts. After that, they will take notes over the following, and these are just the specific Intolerable Acts. These need to be added into their notebooks or onto their online notes so that they can have them in the future. If I was to create maybe this assignment again, maybe I would create a short video discussing some of these items. However, I think with my expansion activities, they will get a good background about the Intolerable Acts. The next item they would do would be a short assessment piece. So they would answer 2 questions, one about what forced the king to create them, and then what was the goal of the Intolerable Acts. After that, they will read a short article just discussing more so we can get that knowledge into that long-term memory so they have multiple times to look at the resources. I know a lot of students have different learning needs, so I want to be able to give them some information in different forms. After they are done reading that and taking notes, they are once again going to watch another video. This video is a short video about kind of what happened after the king put in place the Intolerable Acts. So they start with the causes. They start with why did the king add this? They then go to what were the Intolerable Acts. Now they are at what's really happening during that time. So in this video, it's a short video about the British coming over and taking over kind of the colonies, and they can see the impact in that. All right, this is the last portion of the Intolerable Acts. They will answer 2 questions about the portions of the Intolerable Acts and the impacts. Once they have finished that, they are going to go on to their next resource. Like I said, there will be 3 resources or 3 assignments in this lesson. The second lesson is all about the Battle of Lexington and Concord. Their objective is to be able to summarize the significance of the battles. They would watch this short video. It's about 3 to 4 minutes. They would take notes. And then they would participate in a Google Jamboard. They would click on this link and it tells them when their posts are due. They would click on this link and they would, of course, like the last Google Jamboard, they would place their name on the sticky note. Then they would say what happened. They are going to kind of summarize. And then the last one is, was the Battle of Lexington and Concord, did it have an impact and influence in American history? After they finish that, they are done with the Battle of Concord and Lexington. They have summarized it and kind of annotated and analyzed the information. Last but not least, in this lesson, the students would go over the Concord hymn. This comes directly after the Battle of Concord and Lexington. It is a poem that was created by Ralph Waldo Emerson. They will first annotate the piece on a piece of paper, maybe a notebook or either online in a Google Docs, and then they will explain their annotation on a flip grid. So here is the poem. It's a pretty short poem, especially for middle school. It has 4 paragraphs. They would annotate it. We would talk about what my expectations are with annotation if I have this online. So that would be in that first video. And then last but not least, in this lesson, there would be, if it pops up, there would be a flip grid. And they would be able to discuss their annotations, and then they would actually post their annotations as their picture on Flipgrid. So that is my full lesson, and that would fit in my Revolutionary War unit. And then I also have week 3 going over the Declaration of Independence. It would be very similar on blend space, and then week 4 would be all about foreign aid and kind of why the colonists won the Revolutionary War. I know I have a lot of work to kind of perfect this in the future. I think some great things about this class is that it allows our class to have a community. It also hits multiple learning needs, and students are able to interact with their peers. They also, with each week set up, they are also able to pace themselves by setting up the different weeks that they will complete their assignments in. If you have any questions, please let me know. I enjoyed creating this project, and I enjoy and hope to implement it soon into my class.